This is Sarah from St. Thomas Economic Development here between two trees on Burwell with another little update from the St. Thomas Megasite. All right, today we have our little update. We've got Michael Brix from the Industrial Development Team joining us again for another, let's face it, brisk update today. We are at a pumping station on Burwell Road, and this is just a little guy. Michael, can you tell me a little bit about the purpose of this station and what the plans are moving forward?
So as you said, right now, the existing Burwell station behind us, it is just a little guy. So one of the important questions we had to answer when we started designing the industrial Megasite was, does the existing infrastructure throughout St. Thomas have the capacity to take the new wastewater flows from the site? So a year ago in 2024, we took a look at the whole city and all the sewers and pumping stations to look for pinch points and bottlenecks. So one of the ones that we found was the Burwell Pumping Station. So as soon as we figured that out, we brought on a consultant, R.V. Anderson, and they helped us design a new pumping station that can accept the new flows from the industrial site.
That's fantastic. So with this just being a little guy, what are some of the features of this that's in existence, and what are the changes that you're looking to make?
For sure. So most pump stations have about three main components. So there's a wet well, which is the circular concrete structure right behind us. And then behind that, there's a valve chamber. And then there's also some sort of a control building or control structure. In this case, this is a small one. So all of the controls are just housed in a little cabinet. But our new one will have a new building. So essentially, how a pump station works is when the new flows come to this station from the industrial development and the surrounding areas, the first stop that it makes is it will flow into a wet well. So the wet well is essentially a big, deep concrete chamber that houses the pumps. So in the case of our new pump station, it'll be quite a deep wet well. So it'll be about 14 meters deep, and it will be a two-chamber wet well. So as the wastewater flows in, it will fill up to a certain point, and then a sensor will basically tell the pumps to kick on, and it will pump the wastewater back out of the wet well, where it will next travel to the valve chamber. So inside the valve chamber, there's just a number of different valves which allow us to close and open the force main and also drain it out if we need to. So once it passes through the valve chamber at this site, it travels down to the south, and it brings it by force main all the way to the Highway 3 Expressway, where it eventually continues through a gravity sewer and gets carried through the city to the sewage treatment plant.
Excellent. And what is the timeline for work to begin on transporting this little guy into something more sustainable?
So the project is actually out for tender right now, and we're hoping to start later in May or possibly June. So very soon here.
Will that have any impact on use of the park here?
No, we're staging construction so that the park will remain functional and operational. There'll just be a bit of an area that's kind of fenced off to keep it separate from the public, but park operations will remain as normal.
That is fantastic news. We know people love One Password Park. And in terms of maintaining operations here while under construction, is there anything unique about that process?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the challenges that we had to figure out for this one. So we obviously have to keep all of the wastewater flowing while we build the new station. So for this one, we kind of decided to stage construction so that we build the new pump station still on the same property, but it will be adjacent to the old pump station. So that will allow us to build the new one while keeping the old one running. And then once the new one is commissioned and active, we'll be able to divert all the flows to the new station and then decommission the old one and take it offline.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that thorough explanation. We really appreciate your time, even though it is very cold out today. This is hopefully the last burst of winter and our last wintry update. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of From the Beehive. Find us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube to stay up to date on all of the updates from the Megasite and beyond.